Hi, welcome to another Taekwondo lesson. In this video, I'll show you how to perform a knife hand side strike. The knife hand side strike is either performed half facing or side facing, and it's always performed as an outward strike. So I'm going to show you how to perform it in L stance and sitting stance. Before you learn this technique, you need to know how to form a knife hand. So if you're not sure, check out my video on blocking and attacking tools part 1 and it will show you how. To start the strike, the palm of the striking hand must be facing you and you swing it outwards and twist it. The hand should start off relaxed, so don't tension a knife hand, nor do you need to tension it as a fist. Just keep it relaxed. Whether it's slightly opened or closed doesn't really matter, as long as it's relaxed. And then swing it out and tension it at the end, straightening the arm. Once you've got used to this movement, start introducing the reaction movement, which moves in the opposite way, bringing the fist to the hip. So the palm is facing you, the striking arm's on top, and work both arms together. So learn to twist both hands at the same time. Introduce a little body sway so that later you can implement the abdomen jerk in the technique, like that. So time the two movements together. And once you've got used to that, you're ready to perform it in L stance. If you don't know how to adopt an L stance, check out my video Stances Part 1 and it will show you how. So adopt the L stance and start off by relaxing the body. Your body will drop slightly as you bend the knees a little bit more. And then as you raise the body, start winding up for the technique like we did earlier. And then execute the technique and drop the body. Now you should always be looking at the target. So when you wind up for the technique, the palm will face to the side of your head if you're looking that way. And then drop sharply and twist both hands at the same time, like that. Start using breath control. So you breathe out at the end of the movement, like that. And use hip jerk to add more power, like that. So practice that a few times. And when you end up, make sure that the knife hand is in line with your shoulder because it's a middle strike. Now, if you do it to the top of the shoulder, it will look like your arm is slanted upwards very slightly, which means you don't relax the shoulder. So it should be in line with the middle of your shoulder here. And also, the knife hand should line up with the center of your shoulder here. Okay. And your body ends up half facing when you do it in L stance. If you do it in sitting stance, you're going to be side facing. So adopt a sitting stance. When you do a sitting stance, you're facing forward, but you're striking to the flank. So you're going to have to turn your head to the side. This means when you start crossing your arms for the strike, preparing for it, the palm will be facing you, but then you swing it out and you turn your head to finish the technique. So you can see the target. The action of the strike is very similar to L stance. You relax, come up and down, use a bit of hip jerk, and the knife hand will be in line with the shoulder joint and also in line with the center of the shoulder. The only difference is that you'll be side facing the target, okay? Like that. Keep your stance fixed so you can't twist too much and look to the side. So practice this a few times and then we're ready to practice it as a spot technique. Adopt a parallel stance to start with, and then as you relax, pivot the balancing foot slightly out, go half facing and relax your body. Bend the knees so your body drops at this stage. And as you prepare for this strike, raise the body and then drop it sharply as you execute the technique. Okay, so do this all in one smooth motion. Relax, up, down. Now as you start, you're allowed to pivot the foot slightly, and as you prepare, you can pivot a little bit more to prepare for the L stance, but make sure the feet are firmly on the ground when you finish. Now perform this with all the things I said before, with breath control, using sharp reaction, twisting at the same time, and look at the target at the same time. So all these things have to be done at the same time. breath control, stance, technique, reaction movement, and the eyes fixed on the target, all at the same time. So practice this as a spot technique, starting from parallel stance going into L stance, 10 times on each side. Hana, tul, set, net, taset, yaset, ilgo, yodol, aho, yol. When you perform this strike as a spot technique from parallel stance to sitting stance, the target will be at your flank. So you need to step over into sitting stance towards the target, and then you need to look at the target at the end of the strike. The technique will be performed very similar to when you did it in L stance, but when you relax, there is no need to pivot the foot. It's already in the right position, and it remains in that position throughout the technique. As you wind up, this attacking tool will be in front of your face, and then you bring it across as you lower yourself. Okay? So pretty much the same thing, but you're going to end up side facing and look to the side. So practice this 10 times on each side as a spot technique. Hana, tul, set, net, taset, yaset, ilgo, yodol, aho, yol. So that's it for knife hand side strike. The technique can be performed in virtually any stance, but the ones I showed you, L stance and sitting stance, are the most common. And it gives you an example of a half-facing strike and a side-facing strike. There are also other types of knife hand strike, for example, front strike, inward strike, downward strike, but I'll show you those in another video. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do so, because that way you can keep up to date with my latest releases. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hope to see you next time. Bye.